Since the whole lockdown is not seeming to go away anytime soon, I have set up my vending tent here to turn into a alchemy lab and YouTube do-it-yourself engineering sort of projects set to go. So next I will be investing in a couple extra cameras to start really going on it, and I'll tell you the rest of the story inside. No, here we go first. One of my first projects is going to be taking apart and restoring garden LED lights and building solar panel circuits out of the rechargeable batteries, the solar panels themselves, and soldering and fixing, learning and teaching how to fix LED lights and solder your own circuits. And with the end goal to have a final project where, like, these signs that you can, A-frame signs you can put up, any business, any restaurant, any vendor, any well, anything, but to put solar panels, batteries, and your own lights on them so that they charge during the day, light up at night, and it's all free salvage stuff.
So can you hook all those little panels up in series, can you, like to make a big one?
That's what we're going to investigate, and I'm going to work with some other YouTube do-it-yourselfer channels, as well as my dad is extremely techie computer programmer doing he's recently been working with like the circuits and the soldering with the lights and all of that, the control panels and whatnot. So
awesome.
Yes,
Free energy.
Exactly. And I got other big news involved with that I will tell you about as we go back inside. That is not a good look. Resonance. Meh. All right. Let's put some music back on. So you did check out Vinnie Vincent there, St. Vincent?
I did, yep.
And you noticed, so those black flat coils above the Edley Scallman flywheel there, those are scalar coils, and I believe they're a type of Tesla coil invention, kind of like the crystal radio coil, similar pancake style coils.
They look like they were actually just electrical cable that was wrapped. Is that right? Or
yeah, a certain gauge for certain types of frequency and for certain types of waves.
Yeah, right.
And it's all about standing waves. And he is Roy. Shout out to the fellow YouTuber Roy, Vinnie St. Vincent, because he has combined serious, like, high voltage Tesla experiment coils with plasma, with Edley Scallman's magnetic flywheel, along with so many other, like, just mixes of extremely high crazy things, and he's getting anti-gravity sort of results with different, like, it's a whole nother level of magnetism and electromagnetism, and it's also tied into the moon cycles. So he's a very, very advanced, and the setup he has is like nothing else I've seen so far for how advanced he's built and gone over to where he is at now. So I highly recommend anyone that's in engineering or physics to check him out. And as well, I've been doing
some work with Alien Scientist and APEC, which is Alternative Propulsion Engineering Conference. They're on every Saturday, and they're also hosted by Alien Scientist, who is a physics engineer, and he's working with labs and doing experiments. So I'm hoping to send some of my alchemy monoatomic combinations off to some labs with them for God, what is it called? Where they burn it, get the light for the atomic mass.
Spectral analysis
right now.
Spectral.
Yeah, spectroscopy.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Basically, to show you, show how much is being produced and all that kind of stuff, and what's actually happening.
What elements are in it? So to see if there's actual transmutations and what the chemical compounds actually are that I have in all these different stages.
Cool.
And if the red stuff is a mercury compound, if the yellow stuff is a sulfur compound, if the white stuff is a calcium compound and carbon compounds, and if there's deuterium, if there's heavy water, like all, and what the white, if they are like David Hudson's results where they burnt the white monoatomic elements and they got the results of less gravity and all no longer the properties of the metals and are in their solid states. So hoping to replicate some of those test results and actually have a place to resources to send it and equipment to test it. But also along with that, to try and get channels like Vinny St. Vincent there, Roy, and other fellow YouTubers out there that are actually doing it, a platform where they can speak with the engineering community and we can actually start getting some public results and also funding to scientists in their garages and backyards like myself and so many others.
Yeah, and that's what we need, and especially at this point, you know, we need to funnel the money in the other direction. So, you know, obviously, guys,
exactly.
You know, if you can help people out that are out there doing the work, please, you know, do that. But I mean, we that's the thing, we need to look into things. I mean, obviously, there's GoFundMes, but things like just putting on events, you know, and doing talks and seminars and things, you know, getting awareness out
exactly.
and at the same time.
So APEC is pretty good. They've got here. I'll put it on this one.
So if there's any event coordinators out there in Canada or Australia, contact us.
Oh, I work with Konkin, my friend. I'm a festival guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you are. You're a festival junkie, aren't you? Selling
APEC is
wares.
every Saturday, and it is literally. I've also done promotions. I've owned my own music or record label. I've thrown many shows and events myself. I've even thrown a couple music festivals over the years as well. So I have really been there, done that, my friends.
Wow. There you go. If anyone's got any ideas for some events, contact Bernard. If you're in Canada, whereabouts in Canada, eh? What's
Calgary, Alberta.
Alberta.
I'm in Kootenay.
Because I think that's something we need to start doing. I've put a bit of a shout out to get something together in Perth, and you know, after all this you know, magical mystery bug tour, it's I need to start connecting again with people, don't we? In the physical.
Oh, absolutely. But I feel it's probably not going to be for about another year. Oh God. Okay, what was I just talking about that I wanted to look up? Right back.
It's madness. So all this stuff and you know, sort of alchemy in general, is that all pretty much based off the concept that Earth is a battery and you know, the cathoding the anode is the moon and sun, and trying to replicate
Pretty
that.
much. Well, if you think about it, the ocean is the biggest electromagnetic battery around, and then you have atmospheric energy. And so really, when they had those sails and the mast up, it was like they probably had like a balloon or a kite or something up there, having them like a some sort of wire going way up into the sky, and then they'd be probably dragging along the anchor, and between the two like charge differentials, that is so much free electrical energy that you can turn in and utilize. And I guarantee that the old tech definitely used that in so many different ways.
Wow, so anchors aren't anchors. Anchors aren't for stopping boats then. I mean, and that would make sense. I mean, just the shape and the word, right? It's a lot like an ank.
Exactly. Like, who really knows?
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the pictures of the boats with the big spheres up on the masts, and they don't seem to have sails?
Exactly.
Mm.
So many. Yeah, there's just I don't know if it's shared or not. The alien scientist.
I can see your screen.
Great guy, great guy. Their APEC conference every Saturday, they have an A-list of actual physics engineers there. It's amazing the work Jeremy really is doing and the push for disclosure. And it's pretty awesome, and it's great to be a part of that as well right now. And then the other major thing I'm doing, and if you haven't seen it yet, Michelle Gibson's radio interview with Mel at Veritas Radio just came out today. Probably one of the best intellectual discussions I've ever heard on what's really going on right now with alternative history and connecting the dots. Like, it was just next level. And I'm going to be working with Michelle and Melanie with Unguru there, and I will be doing some paid content classes on that. And for that, I'm going to be putting together the decoding, like the full decoding and deciphering of the alchemical symbols and whatnot. And the reason I'm going to be doing that is both because, one, I have to generate some sort of income for myself, as well as it gets into esoteric topics, which it's like some people, the average person that just stumbles down the rabbit hole, their old dogmas and whatnot, sometimes it's like they're not quite ready for it. So it's almost good to have it behind some sort of wall where you have to self-initiate yourself into it instead of just stumbling on it. And the 5% of people that just say, "Oh my God, you must be satanic or Illuminati," or you know, like, just like, oh my God. Yeah. But
they're all out there.
It's all a learning path.
Nice.
Okay, so with those are all the main principles and main symbols of alchemy. And so the three right here, they're the three on the top left: sulfur, salt, and mercury. And they're called the three principles of alchemy. And they're what I believe the sulfur is the cathode going up, and it's the reaction of the hydrogen going up off the cathode, and it is your plasma and your air or your gas elements coming up off of the cathode side of the reaction. Your salt is your jar of salt water and the line in the middle shows that you have a cathode on one side and your anode on the other side of it. And that your mercury is your red, which goes to the bottom, which I can show on many, many jars. like this jar right here, and at the bottom it turns to this red, what is your solid and liquid state on your anode side go down into the saltwater reaction off the anode side of it. And so that is your electrolysis reaction of the three principles of alchemy. And then on the top right, you have the four elements, which is the four states of element: fire, plasma, and it's a triangle going up; air, gas, going up, your third state; then water, down, triangle down, that's your liquid; earth, down, that's your solid; and plus the elements. What's the elements? The periodic table. So it's your four states of matter plus the periodic elements applied to it. Right there. Huge, huge understanding of science. So simple, hidden in plain sight. And then the metals and the planets, the seven below, you have silver, the moon on the far left, and I don't know if it's waning or waxing there, but anyway, in the sliver, it's one of the ways.
Yeah.
On one end of the moon cycle. And then you have Mercury, the second closest, or the closest to the moon, or the sun, in the solar system under the model. And it's also called liquid silver, closest to the moon in like appearance, or silver in appearance of its color, only it's liquid sort of thing. And in the metal alchemy transmutations of alchemists past, you get it into this mercury state, and then you're able to then transmute it to silver and then to gold in like the perfection of the levels of the metals or whatnot. And then Venus, which the second one and almost closest to planet to us, is copper, which is such a major metal that we use in all of our electricity, and it's so huge in even the electrolysis reactions as well, and that it's been able to be nano-coated through the Keshi technology as well to access plasma is pretty interesting. So and the amount of copper buildings with the old alchemy symbol of copper on it, it's like, does Venus the morning star? So it's called, and whatnot, some sort of energy harnessing that it does with off of the positioning of where copper is, who knows? But Ed Leedscal and his coral castle thought all of these things were very, very important. And then you have the sun, gold, in the middle, and it's your full disk, your 1D disk, your full electron. And in physics, this is what your right-hand rule of current going, the dot within the circle. And in the geometric plane, this is the first dimension. This is your 1D disk, your electron field. And it's the center, and it's the sun. That's our energy in our solar system, and it's the biggest thing we're all moving around and that's going through, and it's gold, and that's the highest level of elements in our solar system, in our level of alchemy, in our understanding, in our dimensional realm. And so also hydrogen in its wave function, and if you've seen Michelle Gibson's video, that last one there, where she used the hydrogen wave functions that I sent her. It's the exact same 1D. A hydrogen wave looks exactly like this shape, and it's the geometric first one-dimensional plane of existence of everything, and it goes from there.
Yeah,
and
because it doesn't enclose space, so it's just two dimensions.
That is also your full moon, or your sun right at noon, or on the solstice, right? Or when you're in a full alignment and getting full power of force of harnessing whatever energies it is. And so the 7 planets, the 7 metals here, it's breaking down the lunar cycle of 28 days into 2 14s on each side sort of thing. And that I believe that the positions of the other planets and their elements essentially are also on, you measure it from the center of this, right? Of the one-dimensional full disk of where you're at equinox, right? Where you're at the full moon, where the energy's coming. And that depending on how far along you are on that cycle, as you see, it's vector graph, right? It's physics vector. And that if you see copper, Venus, it is this full 1D disk, only it's on top of your cross, of your vector. So it's 1 over and it's going up. So it's like, boop, boop. You're going left and up. And then the power is there. And then it's like, so you have Mercury here. And then it's like, okay, it's also on this up top, just like Venus and the copper. But then you have the half moon going up like this. So it's like you're taking the energy of a shell, not a hole, but a shell on that area of the vector sort of thing. And just like silver here, where it's like at the very shell of it in this cycle of going back and forth on the vector from the hole. And so just where this one is down, where copper is down and Mercury is down and the moon is down on the left side, then on the bigger side of Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars, you see that it's below. You have the whole disk and then the cross above it, so that as you move to the right, those forces are then on the bottom part of the vector and moving to the right of it. As you see now, there's the crescent on Jupiter there, where it's in the top right corner, I guess, and then Saturn is on the bottom left corner. So that Jupiter's forces and its tin, and Saturn's forces, which are lead, one would be in the bottom left, I guess, and the other would be in the bottom right of your vector. So like your negative to your positive inversion of the vector graph. Essentially, so it's a matter of just creating vector graphs and measuring forces, electromagnetics on these metals and their productions over time, and then seeing the results in literal physics vector graph experiments. And I guarantee that transmutations in electrolysis, in nuclear physics, in the different metals, and production, weight, gravity, everything is going to be directly measurable and correlate directly to where these heavenly bodies are in regards to, on a vector, the amount of energy coming in affecting them. And that is why all ancient cultures for thousands of years built these henges, built the cathedrals, built the structures to measure the positions of the heavenly bodies, because there's way more energy coming off of these giant masses that are everything, that are the biggest physical forces in our physical realms acting upon each other. And that there's definitely some sort of spiritual connection to it as well, energy into it. Who knows how deep down the occult rabbit hole you want to go, but there is an advanced science to this old alchemy language and the symbols of it, and where the heavenly bodies are. And that is why astrology was so important to all the ancient cultures. And also on Alien Scientists there, when I brought this point up, Jeremy Renz was extremely excited because there's been direct studies of jet propulsion labs and certain physicists results measuring electromagnetic forces, and they also have corresponding results altering depending on where the position of the moon is. So it's like there's other real science out there that has noticed and picked up these effects of the moon and how it does affect electromagnetics and gravity and everything else in our physical realm. And the ancients just had a way bigger, better, deeper understanding of it.
I mean, well, the moon, right? Lunatics. Of course, we know it affects us and we're energy. And
exactly.
And that alchemical symbol, this interesting 7 symbols, 4 states, 7 weeks of 4, 28 days. And then in the top corner, you got 3, which is the 3 seasons, I guess. I mean, the 3 months of each season.
Yeah. Exactly, right? And it's all just, it's physics. It's a vector graph. That's why there's all these crosses.
Yeah.
And the symbols are the spheres, the heavenly bodies, and where they are, and those are the forces. And that's why we're the gods. That's why, the temple of Jupiter, I guarantee you, it was probably covered in tin and harvest some sort of energy. It's probably a portal to Jupiter for all we know, right? Like iron with Mars. And the thing is that I believe, like, I've had reoccurring dreams since a child that of living on Mars and past lives on Mars. And I believe that humanity probably used to be like maybe species of giants, maybe space going, but like a larger civilization, and that the 4th planet is now the asteroid belt, and Mars was a moon of it, and that's why half of Mars is covered in craters and the other half is not. And that's when they lost the oceans and the atmosphere of Mars and it died. And that's why you have like Sedna and these other little tiny planets also in the asteroid belt. It would have been another bigger planet, a solid but watery, bigger mass planet that we probably were from and somehow destroyed ourselves, or were in some sort of war or something. Who knows? That is why we've lost our consciousness, our memory, and why we are trapped back into this 3rd dimensional sphere, this 3rd dimensional realm of free will, that until we stop killing each other and destroying ourselves and picking up the gun and traumatizing ourselves and making that choice to be destructive and to hurt instead of to coming together to understand that I am God, but so are you, and together we can be a greater God, and that we can reach this 4th dimensional. And what is 4D? What is quantum? It's the access of time. So it would be the access of connecting your consciousness throughout time. Thus, you're becoming a 4th dimensional, connected to your full spirit, higher dimensional being, as opposed to being trapped in this 3D carnate of continuously going, and that we keep making this choice to destroy ourselves. That's why we have these resets, because we refuse to come together and accept that we are all one race, one species, one people of brothers and sisters, and that we have to work together to succeed. And once we stop killing each other, then the galactic community that I guarantee is out there of some sort, whether it's other species of us, our ancestors, some god, or aliens, or everything in between. It's that we're not allowed into it and rejoining it until we stop killing each other and stop even making the choice of robbing someone or fighting someone at the bar or getting drunk and having that emotional reaction that triggers and keeps re-traumatizing the human psyche and conscious, and allowing the controllers to keep dividing and conquering us. And that until we all make that decision to do no harm and to just love and create and build, then we're destined to this being trapped on this one-dimensional plane because we can't see further than our own egos, and you can't see further than your own little existence. So of course nothing else is going to exist to you because it is the power of projection, and that is your reality. And that if you want to believe that you have the right, that you're God's greatest gift to earth and you can strike anyone else down because you have that right, you're just destroying your own potential and your own ability, as well as the rest of ours. But luckily, this great grand awakening, the new age, as well, this shift of consciousness is happening. And how they talk about in the past when there are these Armageddons or whatnot, and the good will be saved. It's, you know, the awake conscious connected to their soul, the spiritually awakened, the living and connected to your immortal soul, your immortal self, your Christ consciousness, if you want to call it, but just your eternal being. That we are the ones that will inevitably either find our own way off or be saved. And it's the ignorant that want to hurt each other, that want to shoot each other, that want to road rage, that want to rob, that want to destroy, that want to burn down, that want to bomb, that want to kill, that are going to do it to themselves. And well, it just
stay in the loop, I guess. That's the thing, you know. If you're going to point the finger, then
all you can do is be the change you want to see. And you give enough rope for people to hang themselves that are going to take advantage, but you also give them enough rope to save themselves. If they're willing to help and build and be team, then you bring them in, you know. And it's about helping your community, growing your community, and not giving in to the fear and hiding and shutting off and being afraid of your neighbors. No, it's about building gardens and building playhouses and looking out for one another and being the best person that you can be. Do unto others as you want done to yourself, really.
Exactly. Nice. Well said. Very good. All right. Well, that's a nice little place to end, really.
Most definitely, brother.
Awesome, mate. Well, thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
For sure, brother. Have
All
a
right,
good one.
Have a
Much
nice
love.
day. See ya.